Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a quick look at hill climbing with and without the Swytch kit. I've got a 2-mile climb we're going to do. We've got 400 feet of elevation gain over the course of that 2 miles. That's pretty significant. 100 feet in a mile is considered challenging. This is double that. And we're going to do that on my 38-pound Trek Navigator. A little bit heavier with the battery on there. So we're going to take a look at the before and the after, and you'll see how easy it is when I have this and the challenges when I don't. All right, so here we are queued up at the start of the ride. We're at the bottom of the first hill. And again, this is going to be a total of almost 400 feet of elevation gain. You can see from my handlebar view, there's no switch on the bike, and you'll be able to see in the next run when I actually have the battery on there. So here we are starting off. I am on my middle chain ring in the front, and I am probably in about the 6th highest gear of 8. And you can see I start off okay, but as we start to get into the incline, I start to slow down. Then I've got to shift. And then by about this point, I've shifted again. And I am probably now in, maybe 2nd or 3rd gear in the back. And you can tell from some of the wobble in here that I'm starting to get a little bit tired. Now, I'm maybe 200 yards into this, and I know this video is going to be a little challenging from a can you tell how steep this is perspective. It really isn't. This part really isn't that bad, and you're going to see in a minute when I show you the corresponding run from with the Swytch kit just how fast it is. But you can tell here the last part of the hill is a little bit challenging, and I am going to struggle here going up. And one of the interesting things is when I do this with the assist, I basically shift maybe to 2 or 3 different gears over the course of this ride. On the run without the assist, on some of the flat parts, I'm on my middle chain ring in the front, and sometimes even the largest one. But for most of the hill climbs, I end up on the smallest chain ring in the front, and then often in my lowest gear, so actually 1st gear on the bike. And you can see here just how slow we're going. So I am going to just let us get to the top here, and then we're going to take a look at, I'm going to pause this ride. We'll take a look at the Swytch assisted ride. I can tell you when I get up to the top, I am winded. Again, I know it doesn't look like a lot, but it's actually pretty tiring. And we'll speed up some of the other hills as we go forward here because I don't want you to watch me suffer the whole time. So let's take a look at the Swytch run. All right, here we are at the base of that same hill, and we're about to get going. This is with the Swytch. You can see it in the bottom half of my screen. I am currently on my largest chain ring in the lowest gear. So it shows you the difference. And you can see I am flying already. Now that first run that we just watched, it took me 2.5 minutes to get to the top of the hill. By this point, I had already shifted gears 3 times. I am I am barely using any effort here. And as I go around this first corner and the hill starts to get a little bit steeper, you're going to see me slow down a little bit. But, at this point, we are only maybe 30 or 40 seconds into that ride, and the top of the hill is fast approaching. Now, by now, I've switched to my middle sprocket in the front, and I'm in the middle of the gears in the back. So, probably 4th gear and middle sprocket in the front. And before you know it, we are at the top. That just shows you what a significant difference having the assist makes in this case. All right, so here we are, no assist again, and this is one of the more challenging parts of this ride. So you've got, coming off of the hill we just came up, we go down a hill, and here we're using gravity as our friend and inertia, and we're actually moving, and now we're going to try to carry our momentum into that hill coming up. And as you can see, this is pretty steep, turns around to the left. When you get up to the top there, and here I'm standing up on the pedals now, you can tell from the rocking back and forth. When you get up to the top, turns around to the left, climbs up gradually, and then there's another pretty significant hill at the end of the end of this part. So now, you know, I've gone from a pretty high gear back down to a pretty low gear. You see me zigzagging back and forth across to try to save some energy. And, you know, when I'm riding with assist, this part looks like it's reasonably flat, but you can tell looking off in the distance, this is still a climb. So what we're going to have here is just a long, slow, gradual climb. I would call this more of an incline now as opposed to a real hill. I am, you know, working hard, but I'm not, you know, completely tired at this point. My legs are certainly feeling it. You can tell I'm not going along fast. But what I'm trying to do on this ride with no assist whatsoever is conserve some energy for the hill that's going to be coming up. So if you can see up past these two vehicles, past the truck on the left-hand side, once I go past that, we're going to kind of loop around a little bit to the left, and then you're going to see this next hill that we're about to go up. So as I'm approaching the base of the hill, I would love to have some momentum, but it's difficult to build the momentum because even though it doesn't look like it, we are going up on a hill here. So before we actually go up this big hill, let's take a pause and see how long it takes on the Swytch. All right, here we go. Same exact hill, day before on the Swytch, which you can see again in my lower right-hand corner. I'm building up the same speed that I did a minute ago when we did it without the assist. However, you're going to see me carry my momentum a lot easier with that extra 250 watts of power behind me. So at this point already, I was slowing down and kind of wobbling a lot back and forth. Now here you can tell I'm standing up a little bit, but just look at the difference in the speed. Now this is the part before that I described as a little bit of an incline, and you can tell I just continue to carry my speed as we go through here. I'm going to post the difference in time once we get to the around the corner here. We're about to stop at the base of the next hill, but absolutely no comparison from one ride to the other. So here we go. We're about at the same spot, so we're going to stop and we're going to switch back to the other view. And here you can see I decided not to switch back to the other view because I wanted you to see with continuity just how easy it is to go up that hill I went up the incline, and then just turn right into this hill and keep going. Now, this one, you get a pretty good idea of just how steep it is. I mean, if you look at the left and the right-hand side, you can tell this has got a little bit of incline behind it. And I'm working hard here again, but you could tell I am not going slow. And so what I'm going to do to give you a little perspective, once this car goes by, I'm going to turn around so that we can take a look back and see exactly where we are. Let's do that. And you can tell now, you can't even see the bottom of the hill. That shows you how steep it is. That was a pretty significant climb. And around the corner up ahead is the next hill. So now let's go back and take a look at what we just did under just Chris Power. All right, here we go, up the hill that we just went up, but on the bike without the Swytch. And you can tell as I get into the hill, I'm falling back to my old 10-year-old self. You know, the trick that most of us did when we were young. And that's when you got a really steep hill, you kind of zigzag back and forth. It makes it a little bit easier. But I can tell you, at this point in the ride, my legs are starting to get pretty tired. My breathing is usually pretty good, and with that, I had to stop and take a break. And looking up ahead there, I can see a turtle crossing the road. So after I give my legs a rest for a second here, we're going to get back going again. And then I'm thinking when I get up to that turtle, hopefully he's made it safely across. And this is one of the reasons I like to Swytch, because, I'm going to have to stop probably once or twice more before we get to the top of my 385 feet of elevation here. And, I'm starting to get tired again. This is a good workout, and I like doing this from time to time, but I also like to be able to just go out and ride the bike on these same roads, not have to stop, go further, and really enjoy it. I went the extra 50 feet. There's my friend the turtle, who was having a challenge getting up over the curb. Nice guy that I am, I just go over, I give him a little boost onto the grass, and I get back on the bike and keep going. Now, did that extra little break help me out? Well, it certainly helped out a little bit. Make sure he's good, and then get back up into the climb. Now, at this point, I am in definitely one of my lowest gears. It's starting to flatten out a little bit, but my legs are burning pretty good. You can see once we get up past this next driveway, the bulk of the hill is behind us, but you can see looking out forward, we're still going uphill here. So I am just going to crank my way up to that next stopping point, and we'll go up the next big hill. So rather than have you watch me suffer through the rest of this, let's just skip ahead. All right, by now, I'm guessing that you're starting to get the picture. So here we are, we're Swytch assisted. We're going up the last hill. Actually, the last real hill. There's a couple of more, but this is the last significant elevation gain. Notice a couple of deer here. I do my best to make sure they don't jump on me. And you can tell if you look kind of at the right how this road is cut into the side of the hill. You can see how high that house is up there on the right. It'll give you some idea of the elevation. So I'm cranking along. I've got the assist on 5. Middle chain ring in the front, probably middle in the back. And this is just not a lot of effort. And when I look at the overall run, I've made pretty good time to this point. I don't know exactly how far in it is because I'm not looking at that data. But I haven't expended a lot of effort. So what we're going to do is cut out a little bit of the video here. And we're going to show you the last couple of pieces before we get back to my house. So here we are, probably about, half a mile or so, maybe a little bit more than that later. Now we're out on the main road. And here it's nice to have the assist because this is reasonably steep. And, you're tempted to kind of zigzag a little bit when you get tired. I can't do that because of the amount of traffic here. But you can see how fast I'm going. I'm not using a lot of energy. And as the road starts to flatten out, we're getting back toward my house and really the end of this first ride. So what we're going to do is actually finish up here. We're going to take the left into my street, and then we're going to go up my driveway. And we are going to hit the stop button on Map My Run, which is what I'm using to record my time in the elevation gain. And then we're going to do a quick cut back to the rest of the ride unassisted. So let's go take a look at that. I'm already 9 minutes into this. So yesterday at this point, I was basically done. My legs are now shot. Whew. I'm in my lowest gear. A little bit of a break. Car coming behind me. Yeah, here we go. Now here, can't zigzag. Can't cheat. So, just gotta ride. Here's where I think maybe drop bars would be beneficial. Just tuck in. I don't know. Sure. Oh, car coming. And I'm in such a low gear. Feels like I'm not even moving. My legs are out of juice. Wildlife is mocking me. All right, here's the results. 1.91 miles, 940, not bad. Average speed 11.9, elevation gain 373. Here's me. You know, I'm breathing. I'm a little sweaty, but not bad at all. Let's take a look at what it takes to do that without the assist. Okay, so here we are. It was a little over 21 minutes. Which was more of a workout? Obviously this one, as you can tell. I'm sweating a hell of a lot more. Weather today is about the same. Maybe it's a little bit more humid, but I felt that. We take a look at the data. And it's basically the same, 1.94, 2103 versus a little over 9 minutes. 377 elevation, maybe that's because of the zigging and the zagging I did. 5.5 miles an hour. Something tells me there's an advantage to using the Swytch. And so after looking at that footage, you can see why I consider the Swytch to be advantageous. I can do it without, but it takes a heck of a lot more effort. The more I do it with, and as I turn down the assist over time, the stronger I get. So your mileage may vary. Give it a shot, see what you think. In any case, thanks for watching. Most of my viewers aren't subscribed, so I'd appreciate it if you like my content. Give me a subscribe. Thanks, guys.